Hi HGTV, welcome to Raleigh, North Carolina. My name is Monica Ross and I'd love to be on your show, Armchair Designer. So come on in. First let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am 39 years old and for a long time I've daydreamed about becoming an interior decorator. But sometimes life turns you in a different direction and I am a stay-at-home mother of 4 children and their ages range from 2 to 20. I'm legally blind and I always promised myself that if a design opportunity ever became available that I would just take a chance, so here I am. Armchair Designer definitely describes me because I am borderline obsessed with design shows, decorating books and magazines. I love going to antique malls and flea markets, also auctions. In fact, a funny story is when I went to my first auction, I was bidding on an item and I was actually asked to put my hand down because it turns out I was bidding against myself. It was a little embarrassing, but I got over it. I would describe my style as a traditional eclectic with maybe just a hint of glamour. I love finding antique furniture and vintage pieces and making them work for me in my home. So HGTV, let me show you a few rooms in my home. Hi there. Here we are in my family room. And the majority of the furniture in this room has been found at auctions. But believe me, it did not look like this in the beginning. When looking for antique or vintage furniture pieces, you kind of just have to use your imagination and look past the old torn fabric. Lots of times you can find a really quality piece of furniture that just needs a little tweaking. I think you can use anything as color inspirations. Some of my favorite things to use are, for instance, jewelry, shells, even candy. We all love candy. The fabrics that I have chosen in here are in various textures and colors, and we even have some pattern in there. For instance, this velvet is on the stool in front of me, and I've also had a pillow made with the same velvet on it, and I found a great fringe to go along with it. The pattern in this chair has all the colors of this necklace, and I thought that that was great. Usually if you kind of lost on, well, does this color go with this, just look at a piece of jewelry and see what somebody else had, the color somebody else has put together, and that's usually really helpful. I also like to use a lot of different textures. Like for instance, this decorative ball has a very similar texture to the baskets in this room and also the sisal rug. Another great accessory are fresh flowers. I don't think you have to spend a whole lot of money on them. I usually just get a couple dozen roses and cut them up and put them in various small vases. I don't think you have to do really large bouquets to make a statement. Another great accessory that I love to use are books. I think that they're like artwork in itself. One thing that some people are really afraid to do is mix silver and gold. I love metallics and I think the two look really great together. I have some modern artwork, but I also in the same room will have vintage or antique accessories, like the French clock on top of the fireplace. And I think they all work really well together. Here we are in the kitchen, which is my favorite room. Some of the things that I have done in here are I've picked out a patterned glass to go into the cabinet doors. And because the cabinetry is darker along with the floors, I wanted to add some brightness into this room. So at the kitchen island, I have added molding and these legs, painted out everything in heirloom white, and put an age finish on top of that. I've also added these towel bars on the sides And they're really great for just holding your pot holders and dish towels. Over here at the kitchen table, I like contrast, so I've kept the kitchen table darker and painted out all the chairs to coordinate with the kitchen island. As you notice, the chairs are different. I think it makes the table look a little bit more interesting. You have a bench over here, 2 matching end chairs, and 2 ladder chairs on that side. I also mentioned that I like to mix the vintage and the modern, and over here I have an antique buffet, which is great for when you entertain, laying out the food, or if you're just having dinner, placing everything up there that won't fit on the table. In this room I also have mixed antique and modern accessories. Over there I have an antique French clock with modern artwork over here. We have baskets, just like in the coordinating family room. And also, because the 2 rooms are just connected, I like to mix the same colors and similar accessories in here. And the ways I have brought color into this room are through pillows on the benches. You can add color just simply through fresh fruit, flowers. One other thing that I really love to use is vintage and antique lighting. So above the table I have a vintage French chandelier. And in the coordinating family room I also have a vintage chandelier hanging. I think they're really great and they add a lot of glamour to this space. So HGTV, here we are back in the entryway in which I first welcomed you to my home. As you can see, I've decorated the entryway in a similar style and fashion as the rest of the house. I feel you should never overlook your entryway because it's an introduction into your home. I'd like to thank you for this great opportunity. Come back anytime. Thanks.